Hey, this is Kate. If you're enjoying the content on the Good Fight channel, then please do hit like and subscribe below. Thank you. Terence Crawford, good to see you. I appreciate the time. Thank you. Talk to me. Let's start with your upcoming fight, right? David Avanesyan, which is December 10th. You're fighting back home in Omaha. It feels like it's been like 4 years since you fought at home, right? How was it for you having that period of time where you didn't get to fight at home?
It wasn't nothing different. It was, something that I'm fairly used to, being that, I fought away from home my whole career. So something that I was used to.
It's got to feel good going home to fight in front of a hometown crowd, right? The tickets went on sale on Monday. I think half the arena already sold out on that Monday that they went on sale. What is it that the people of Omaha love about you?
Well, like I always told people, I fight for them. I put my city on my back, and when I go in the ring, Omaha is always on my trunks, and I always rep Omaha everywhere I go. Ever since I was a young kid, and for me to support my city and my state the way I do, it's only right that they support me like I support them.
It feels like some boxing fans have been dismissive of Avanesyan as a challenger to you, right? He is ranked top 10 by 3 of the sanctioning bodies, but it kind of feels like anybody who's not named Errol Spence right now, people are going to have a problem with you fighting them, right? Do you feel the responsibility to please the fans? Is that something that you care about? Or, is it something that moves you when fans express disappointment with a move that you've made, or not really?
Well, at some point in my life, I used to always care so much what the fans think and what they say. But as I got older, I just realized that you can't please them all. No matter what you do, and no matter who you beat, no matter how many fights you win, no matter how many divisions you conquer, there's going to be fans that don't like you for their own personal reasons, or they still not gonna like, how you did it or who you fought. So you can't please them all. So that's how I look at it.
Do you feel like you get that more than other fighters?
Of course, I feel like all the great fighters get that. When you look at, all the great fighters that came before me and the fighters that's gonna be here after me, they're gonna get the same treatment. They're gonna get the just due. Is because they great. When you great, the fans want you to fight the fighters that they want you to fight, and that's that. And if you don't fight those fighters, then you're not considered the best in their eyes. You're not considered, the greatest fighter that you possibly can be, because you're not fighting the fighters that the fans want you to fight.
As a team, I guess that as a group, everybody had to have been hyped about the idea of fighting Errol Spence and having that kind of like a legacy defining fight, right? I'm interested for you personally, for your family, for your team, how disappointing has this period of time been? And do you kind of feel really drained by the whole thing not getting to where you wanted it to get to?
Well, of course it was disappointing, being that, that was a fight that been on our radar for years, and being that it didn't come to the light, of course it's disappointing, but at the same time, I have a career, I got a family, I got to continue with my career. I can't sit on my hands and wait for another fighter or another promotional company to make things right for me when I'm not signed with them. So I got to do what's best for me at the end of the day.
There's obviously a lot of upsides, right, to having control, being your own boss, right? Like you talked through before, having that kind of visibility over everything that's going on with your finances, with the business. It also means, though, like on the flip side of that the blame is now personal, because before everybody used to be mad at PBC and mad at Top Rank because they couldn't make the fight happen. Now it feels like it's more directed to you personally, right? The kind of the kickback to the fight falling apart. How have you felt about the reaction to that announcement of the Avanesyan fight, and to the reaction to your IG Live even? What have you made of that?
Well, I think it's not geared directly towards me. I think it's, right down the line. but at the same time, you know, that's something that I don't care about.
Hmm.
For one, being that I did everything that I was supposed to do, that I could do to make the fight happen. You know, the people that's on the outside that's saying all these negative things and saying certain allegations, they don't know what they're talking about. So it's like I gave you the truth. I told you what it was, and that's what it was. And if you don't like it, then so be it. Go beat yourself up, what I mean, every day that you wake up because you're not happy with your life. I'm blessed. I'm happy, what I mean? I'm healthy. So, I'm comfortable. I'm good.
So I think fans, right, from the outside, they look at this and they watch how everything played out, and they think pretty much this was the fight that we wanted to see in this generation, essentially, right? And they think pretty much we got as close as we're ever going to get, and that the fight's not going to happen. What's your perspective? Do you think that the fight still happens? Is there still life in that?
Well, there's always still life in the fight. Things just got to be, fair, and they got to be right on both sides. That's it. That's the only thing that I ever asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Things to be fair and be transparent. That was it.
Do you
I
feel like that's a
accepted.
place you can get to with PBC?
I feel like if the fight, is the fight that they want to have, and they want to please the fans, and they want to make things right, of course it can happen. Of course.
So I think the question that comes up with that fight not happening, right, is legacy. Legacy is always such a big word in boxing. What legacy do you think you've earned right now? And is it where you want it to be?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course. When you look at Terence Crawford legacy compared to Errol Spence legacy, it's night and day. And I don't mean to throw shade on the brother. I'm just speaking facts. Whether they can say whatever they want, they can hate and say, "Oh, well, he fought this guy, he fought that guy." They can say whatever they want. But for Terence Crawford legacy, you're gonna say he's a 3-weight world champion. He's an undisputed world champion. He's a fighter of the year. He's an ESPY award winner. He's a lineal champion in 2 different weight classes. He's undefeated, and he never had a close fight ever in his boxing career.
So I think
So
what people often look for is a signature win. Do you feel like you have a signature win?
I got multiple signatures of wins.
Which ones are they for you?
When you look at it, Ricky Burns was a signature win.
Okay.
When you look at it, Gamboa was a signature win. Postal was a signature win. Ndongo,
Sean Porter.
not Sean Porter.
You wouldn't
Jeff
include
Horn.
Sean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff Horn was a signature win. Kell Brooks.
Okay, that's a lot of signature wins.
Yeah, they all signature wins. You know what I mean? Because when you look at it, them all champions. And some of them is champions in multiple divisions. So when you look at what they did in the sport of boxing, then you look at them like, man, look at all the things that they accomplished in the sport of boxing, and then how I'll beat them. That's a signature win in my eyes.
Okay, so I didn't want to make this into a comparison with you and Errol, but you kind of did, right? So if you're going to pick Errol's signature wins, which one would you pick?
Errol's signature wins, I would say Kell Brook, Sean Porter. You're going to put Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia and Ugas, pretty much.
So basically those more recent fights.
Even though Danny Garcia never won a significant fight at 147, he didn't beat nobody. He lost to everybody. Even though Mikey Garcia never fought in the division before, even though Ugas has been beaten numerous times, Tom Porter had already been beaten. Kell Brook had already been.
You're just trying to take away all those significant wins. You're taking it back.
I'm stating facts. I'm stating facts. When we do this, we gotta state facts, because you know what I mean. When you say Terrence, you say, oh, well, Gamboa was little, but they don't say, oh, well, Gamboa had a title at 135 when they fought. They don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? they say, oh, well, Gamboa was too little, but they don't say Gamboa never went below 135. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To fight again. So, you know, it's a lot that they say, oh, well, Jeff Horn was robbed. You know what I mean? With the Pacquiao won. Oh, well, you fighting leftovers when you fought Sean Porter,
Mm-hmm.
which everybody said I was going to lose that fight. Oh, well, Kell Brook was washed up, which everybody said I was going to lose that fight. So the fights that they said I was going to lose, you know what I mean, prior to me fighting, then when I fight, then
They switch it on you.
there
Mm-hmm.
you go. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stating facts. That's all.
So talk to me about being undisputed, because I was watching an interview that you did with Andre Ward. It was like an ESPN interview. You guys are sitting down on two stools. I can't remember ahead of which fight it was, but you said that being undisputed is one of those things that really drives me, right? You didn't get to become undisputed at 135 kind of because of the politics of boxing and everything. If you don't get the opportunity to become undisputed at 147, would you leave the sport with disappointment, with regret? Like how would that affect you?
Not at all. Not at all.
But how can you be the same person that's driven by becoming undisputed, but also be like, hey, I'm cool if it doesn't happen?
My thing was this. I was driven by being a world champion of the world. That's what I was driven by.
There's 4 belts though, right?
I already did that. That. Already accomplished that. I set a trend.
What's the trend?
That means before Terence Crawford, when was the last undisputed champion?
I don't know. You tell me.
Come on now.
No. You tell me.
Jermaine Taylor now.
Okay,
so when you look at the time span of the 4-belt era, from Jermaine Taylor, Terence Crawford want to be undisputed. Boom. Once Terence Crawford became undisputed, everybody wanted to become undisputed. Wasn't nobody screaming, I want to be undisputed, until Terence Crawford became undisputed. Right or wrong?
I don't know, man. That's hard for me to say.
I'm gonna have you. You gonna have to do your history. You gonna have to do your. You gonna.
Okay, but so if you saw the value in it back then,
that's your homework.
Why don't you care about it now?
I already did it. I already accomplished it.
So you feel like doing it in one division is enough for you?
I never said that. I never said doing it in one division, because it haven't been done in 2 divisions. That's why I wanted to do it in 2 divisions. But what I'm telling you is, if I leave the sport and not being able to accomplish becoming undisputed at 147, it doesn't hinder me or make me feel any way, because I already did it before. I know how it feels because I already was undisputed before. Errol Spence, he don't know what it feels like to have all the belts on him. He don't know what it feels like to be the only champion in the division. He doesn't know what it feels like. A lot of fighters don't know what it feels like. Fighters in a Hall of Fame,
what does it feel like?
Listen, you the head honcho. you the number one, you know what I mean, fighter of the division. There's no other champion. You numero uno.
If you got 3 of the 4 belts, do you feel like you feel like you're the head honcho anyways?
You're not the head honcho because you ain't beat me.
Okay.
Come on now, you don't got the Ring Magazine champion. You don't got the WBO. Come on now. Listen. How long you been in boxing?
In America, like 3 years.
No, all together.
I used to do it for Sky in the UK as well, but I only did a few fights over there before I moved over here.
Okay, so ask yourself, what's the number 1 belt?
Well, people would say the lineal champ, right? The Ring Magazine belt.
How do you get
But different people feel differently, right? You asked Evan Haney, he doesn't give it any value.
He's lying. If he say he don't give the lineal belt any value, that's a lie.
So you remember when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder? And like the first fight, Tyson Fury was talking about being the lineal champ, and Deontay Wilder was like, what the heck does that even mean? Like, it didn't even mean anything to him. I feel like there's people in boxing who don't even care about it.
So check this out. Tyson Fury beat the man, right?
Yes, agree.
Which was Klitschko, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Klitschko had the lineal title. Tyson Fury beat him, right? So that made him become the lineal champion. All the other belts don't mean nothing because he beat the man. So he's the man right now. So when no belt else fails, he still had what? The lineal title.
I'm not disputing you, by the way. I'm not arguing you.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. You can't become number one in any division, without having that lineal title. There's go lineal champion. There go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on down. When you look at it, if that mug say vacant, you can't call yourself number one in the division because it's vacant. That belt override all the other belts. Why you think it's free? You the people champ. You the champ. We're gonna give you a free belt. You earned this. All the other belts you gotta pay for.
So this is one thing that always confuses me in boxing, right? Is the argument between like legacy and getting paid. Because I feel like fans, we always expect boxers to want to care about legacy more than anything else. But like in real life, we all care about getting paid, right? Like I have a job. I'd like people to think that I'm good at it, but I care more about like my contract and what that reflects. And can I change my standard of living? Can I help out my family? Like all that kind of stuff, right? How do you like balance the two? Like what, if somebody who's talking about being the people's champ, the lineal champ, all of that stuff obviously has value to you. Do you care more about legacy? Do you care more about getting paid? Like what's the balance for you between the two?
See, at one point in your career, you're going to care about legacy, because that's what you're doing it for. You're going to care about, becoming world champion. You're going to care about fighting the biggest fights. But then it's going to flip. It's all about the money at the end of the day. We didn't accomplish everything we accomplished. We prize fighters. Let's fight for this prize.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fight for this prize because we not fighters today like the fighters that was ages ago. That was leaving the sport with brain damage, and they don't have nothing to show for. They don't have nothing to show for. When you look at a lot of those old fighters, they was taken advantage of. Put in the ring, 10 times a year, and all 10 fights was tough fights, and they was brutally knocked out, or they was in split decisions, 15 rounds, and then when you see them, you like, man, I remember this dude was such and such, such and such. But then when you look at him, you like, dang, man, it's sad because he don't have nothing to show for. He put his life on the line for a sport that didn't give him nothing back. Not even healthcare. It's people that's dying in the ring. Look at recently, my guy, he's in a coma right now.
Kazakh fighter.
Yeah, but that's what we do it for. We do it for the fans' entertainment. So when fighters get hurt like him, us fans, we go about our day like nothing happened.
Mm.
So just imagine how much he was fighting for. He was fighting for pennies and nickels. What if he didn't have insurance? Now what? Now all that money that he didn't fall for is gone. Why? Because he got to pay for his doctor bill. If God willing, he come out of the situation that he come out of. And then when he do come out of that situation, there's no way for him to make money in boxing no more. So now what he got to do? He got to go slave doing other jobs that if he can work. If he can't, then now what? See, a lot of people don't look at things like that,
Mm.
And a lot of times people don't have people, around them that care about them enough to say, hey, listen, put your money up, put it in this so it can gain interest. Here, invest in this, or do this with your money, or do that. Don't buy this, don't buy that. A lot of people don't have those type of individuals in their life to look out for them and, make sure that they do got something, to show for at the end of their career. That way they don't have to come back to boxing, when they retire and feel like, this is the only avenue they can make money in. So, yes, it's about the money at the end of the day.
I feel you. So when do you want to get out of this game? Because you used to say like 33, 34 years old. You're 35 now. You're still in it, right? I've heard you. I've listened to your interviews. You used to say that.
You pay attention. I like that. I actually did. I always said, I wanted to retire at 33. I did. I wanted to retire at 33, and here I am at 35, still going. I just love
Is
the
there still
sport.
an itch? Like, what is it that you want to, there's something you have to achieve before you hang it up, or what is it?
I just feel like, I'm still at the top of my game, and I really wanted that Errol Spence fight. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the fight that I really wanted. Just to prove a point. That was it. I really don't need boxing. It's a plus of getting a big lump sum at once, uh, at doing something that you love to do. But I've been blessed with putting people in the right, you know, putting the puzzles together for Terence Crawford after boxing. So God has blessed me with a lot of people that care about me, and I made some great decisions, and I made some great investments, and you know, I'm still doing big things and outside of the ring. That's why a lot of people say, "Oh, well, he only fight once a year and this and that and this." Well, I'm not hurting. If I was hurting, I had to take this, I had to take that, I had to do this, I had to do that. But I'm not hurting. I'm comfortable, and I'm blessed. Like I said, I'm blessed.
Praise God. God is good. So obviously you've moved on from Top Rank, right? So this is like a new period of time for you. You've taken control of your own career. It's something you've talked about a lot. One of the things that you said is that the next fight is the start of a new chapter for your career. What is it that you want to be different or to feel different in this new chapter?
Well, I just want to, be in control of my own career. Be in control of my own destiny. That's pretty much it. I just want to have, a seat at the table, and make sure that I'm aware of everything that's going on within my career, and
So
don't
having taken
be
that back,
blindsided.
does it feel good?
Oh, of course, of course. I'm able to do things that I wasn't able to do at top rank. I'm able to see things that I wasn't able to see at top rank. I'm able to know things that I wasn't able to know at top rank. So I love it.
So if you were advising young up and coming fighters, how do you manage your career? What would your advice be in terms of signing with a big promotional company versus trying to keep that control for yourself?
A lot of people need a little, a helping hand, a little boost when
Uh-huh.
they get their feet off the ground. And I always say it, by far, Top Rank is the best promotional company out there, by far, hands down.
Mm.
You know, they build the most champions. They then promoted the biggest fighters and best fighters in the history of the sport. So they got a long, extensive history of building champions into Hall of Famers. To start off your career, that'd be a great move. But then, branch off once you get to a certain point in your career where you can make moves and understand the business, and do it yourself.
Is that because no one's ever going to take care of you the way you're going to take care of you?
That's a fact. That's a
Mhm.
fact. Nobody is ever gonna, look out for your best interest if it don't, benefit them at some point.
So the fights on BLK Prime, right? The truth is they've never done boxing at this kind of level before. You said on your IG Live that BLK Prime is the new wave. Why do you say that?
Cause it's a new company. Everybody calling, everybody want to know about BLK Prime. This is the start of something new. With fighters get to be in on all the negotiations, and fighters get to see everything that's coming in, and it's not all about the promoters. It's just a different platform. It's kind of like when Golden Boy started up. How successful they was. How DAZN, when they started up, they were successful. How PBC started up, they were successful. So when you look at all those new promotional companies and uh, new people that got into boxing, it just jumped off. It was the new wave.
So break that down for me though. Does that mean that their intention is not to make deals with promotional companies? They just want to work directly with a fighter and therefore pass on more of the benefit to you guys? Like, is that what they're trying to do?
For sure. For sure. They
Okay.
want to work. They want to basically, work with the fighter and make the best and the most money for the fighter fighting the best fights. So, instead of the promoters taking all the money from the sponsorships, from, the ticket sales and whatnot, they want to help the fighters out and basically give them a platform where they can learn as well.
So are you hoping that this would be like a longer term home for you, or are you just taking it fight by fight, see how this one goes, and then you'll make your decision?
Well, yeah, for sure. I'm just taking it fight by fight, and build a relationship with BLK Prime, and see where everything else take me.
When it's a network like this, right, that's just launching, it's pretty unknown in terms of being a streaming service, right? So just truthfully, it's probably going to be hard to get the awareness where you would maybe want it to be, to get the buys to be where you would want it to be. You kind of brace for that, for the views not to hit like crazy numbers, and then people to kind of use that against you and say, see, I told you you shouldn't have fought him, blah, 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 blah. Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, of course. You got to always expect that, with something new coming up. But, this is just the start of something. So when it starts, it may not be all peaches and cream, from the jump, because a lot of people don't know about BLK Prime. A lot of people don't know, about the app, so, you got to get your feet wet. And then once you get your feet wet, then, everything start coming into place. The fights that they put on the app, the type of fighters that they go out and search and get and put on. The fans want to see good fights. They want to see great fights. So as long as they putting out great fights with great fighters, then it's gonna do good numbers.
Mm-hmm. So you're in training camp right now, which means you're in Colorado, right? What's a Terence Crawford camp like?
Terence Crawford camp. I would say my camp is full of hard work, a lot of games, a lot of competitiveness, and just all out, fun and hard work. That's pretty much what it is.
What are we playing? What are the games?
Oh, we playing spades, we playing dominoes, we playing ping pong, we playing darts, playing basketball. Just anything we can be competitive on.
I heard you like to fish too. Is that right?
Yeah, but I don't fish in camp.
You don't?
I don't know why. I ain't never fished in camp.
Okay.
I don't really be having the time, because it's like, you working, eating, rest, working, eat, rest, working, wake up, do it again. So my day is consist on working out and rest, and you get a couple of games here and there, and then you watching TV or you watching boxing, and you waiting for your next workout, or you getting ready for the next day.
You enjoy camp or you hate camp?
I love it. I actually do enjoy it.
Okay.
Because it's peaceful.
When you got 6 kids at home, it's definitely peaceful, right?
Definitely. Yeah. They just left. They was up here.
Oh, really?
My three boys was up here. They had a wrestling tournament in Denver, so I went down there and watched them, and they got to stay up here and stuff.
That's dope.
So yeah, a little excitement for a couple of days.
One of the things that people say about you and that you read about you a lot is how important it is for you to be present as a father, that you don't miss tournaments, that you don't miss birthdays, all those kind of things. How do you balance that with camp life? How do you make that work?
Yeah, I always said, as a young kid, where my father wasn't at none of my birthdays, none of the holidays, nothing I could really remember. He was at a couple of my fights and whatnot. I always thrived on, I never miss nothing of my kids, because that's what's important to them. Boxing is important, but boxing ain't gonna be there for me after I retire. So I don't care who I'm fighting. I don't care where I'm at. If my kid have a birthday, if they have something going on, a holiday or whatever, I'm making it my point to be there for them, because at the end of the day, when they get older, they gonna remember. They're gonna be like, man, my dad was there no matter what. My dad was boxing, but he ain't never missed no birthday. My dad was boxing, but he never missed the Christmas. My dad was boxing, but if I had a dance recital, he was there. So they're going to remember that.
What do they do that drives you crazy?
What do they do to everything? They
Okay.
fight, they fight, they scream, they yell. They just do the most. They tear up the house. They put holes in the wall. They write on the walls. Oh man, they do the most. They do the most.
So one of my favorite videos from this year, it was this year, right? It wasn't last year. Your daughter winning the race. So she's doing a track meet. She's like 7 years old, right? This video went
Yes.
viral too. The gun sounds for the race to start. She goes out to start the race. She comes out of her shoe. She turns around. She picks up her shoe. She's miles behind at this point, and she just starts running. And she runs this incredible bend, and she catches all the girls in the home straight, and she ends up winning the race. It was a brilliant video. It was very cool to see like the character that she displayed in that moment. That kind of relentlessness, is that something that you've like instilled in them because that's something that you have in you, or is that just genetic? Is that just how they are? Like, what is it with your kids? Do you teach them that purposely?
I think it's just genetics, and then the will of me telling them never give up. Mm-hmm. My daughter, she's an athlete. My boys, they get mad because, I always use her, when I be like, man, watch this. I bet you can't do more push-ups than my daughter. And she'll hit like 40 like real push-ups like a dude, like up down. And then, the boys, they be trying to compete with her, but they can't, do as many push-ups as her, and they always get jealous and stuff like that. But yeah, my kids, they just blessed with genetics. They all athletes. They all, dance and do sports. And, I'm just blessed to be in a position that I am to be their father.
Amen. That's cool. So going back to camp, obviously you're somebody who you got a big family around you. So you're used to kind of encouraging people, supporting people, right? It seems like that's something that you do in boxing too. People are very aware of your relationship with Shakur, with Keyshawn Davis. And I heard that in camp, it's not like you have to be an elite fighter to be brought into your camp. Like you'll bring kind of random people into camp. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure.
What does that do for you? Or what are you trying to do for other people?
Well, I just want to, give other people the hope of reaching a certain plateau, in the sport of boxing that, maybe they dreams. Some people just want to be able to say, oh, I had a name in boxing. Some people just want to be able to say they won a world title. Some people want to be the best fighter in the world. So when you look at it, there's a place for everybody in the sport of boxing, and sometimes the only thing a person is missing is that opportunity. Because I was once that kid that coming from Omaha, Nebraska, that nobody knew about. I was that kid that when I went to the Nationals, everybody wrote me off because they figured everybody from Omaha was a walk in the park. So I had to, make a name for myself, and still, I wasn't given anything. I wasn't, the kid that made it to the Olympics. I wasn't the kid that when he turned pro, that got a huge signing bonus, and the managers and promoters was, dropping and for joy to sign me and stuff like that. So I just had to work my way up and, basically take my respect in the sport of boxing. So for me to get a fighter with some skills and with some talent and some heart that want to work, it makes me feel good, because when they win, I feel like I win, because, I just push them and help them, get to the point where they at right now.
And when you're doing that with fighters like Keyshawn and Shakur, is that something that maybe you personally benefited from? Was there somebody in boxing that at some point came and took you under their wing? Or is it because you didn't have that you feel like you want to give it to somebody?
Well, yeah, I didn't have that. It was rough, but at the same time, I can pay homage to Timothy Bradley, because once I went to the first training camp with Tim Bradley, everything had changed for me. My phone started ringing. I started getting fights. And then at that time, my career had started moving, because at the time before I was in training camp with Tim Bradley, my career was just at a standstill. So I got to pay homage to my bro Tim for putting out the good word and believing in me and letting everybody know that, even though I wasn't a champion, he always viewed me as a world champion after sparring him.
I was reading about that the other day, and there's a story how like he sat on the ring with you after sparring and said, who are you, kind of thing, because he was so impressed with how you'd performed in the ring with him, and said, you're not just a sparring partner, like you're going to be a legit world champion. That's who you are. Did that change how you looked at yourself, hearing somebody give you that kind of affirmation?
Of course, I was always confident. I was always telling people, look, I'm gonna be world champion, but at the same time, as a fighter, you have doubts when you haven't been in a ring with that caliber of talent. So once I had the chance to, actually gauge myself with a world champion, I was just like, oh yeah, if I can hang in here with Tim, I can hang in here with anybody.
Mm-hmm. So going back to camp, you work with 3 trainers, is that right?
Yes.
How does that work? Because I think most people look at that situation and feel like that has to be complicated.
Not for me, because you got to think, I've been working with these guys, my whole life. Like Brad, he was on my team. He was the heavyweight. Mm-hmm. Saul was my sparring partner. He was professional. Mm-hmm. Bo, was somebody that knew me before I was even born. He grew up with my mom and my dad, and he was actually training. We all come from the same gym training. So, when I put the team together, I was putting the team together looking at it from a different point of view. They all 3 got different styles. They all 3 got their strong points. So why not bring all 3 of them in and then get 3 different looks? Mm-hmm. That way, I can learn from 3 different minds instead of 2 eyes. I got 6. So sometimes when I'm sparring, one of the coaches will look at just my feet, and the other coach will see if I'm using my feints or if I'm got my rhythm, or the other coach may look at the punch selection that I'm doing, or am I bringing my hands back? So it all plays a good role in how versatile Terence Crawford is.
Do you think that their willingness to be in that kind of situation is special too? Because I feel like there'd probably be a lot of coaches who would feel more proprietorial, right? And kind of want the recognition that having a top fighter gets them for themselves too.
Yeah, no, I think that's the greatness of my team, is because they all is equal. They all don't, none of them really see each other, I would say, bigger than the other one. None of them have an ego. None of them, argue with each other. I can't even think. Have they ever had a disagreement on things like, when they have conversations about, what I'm doing right or what I'm doing wrong? So it works out real good. Everybody happy, and like I always said, we all a family at the end of the day.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Good luck for this fight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.